At UFC 291, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson was set to fight Michel Pereira, but Michel did not make weight, missing by about 3 or 4 pounds. While 4 pounds doesn't sound like a lot, it can make a difference, even if it's just mentally. When Thompson fought Darren Till back in 2018, Till missed weight and won by decision. In Stephen Thompson's mind, the extra size made a difference, and he said he would never do it again.
And I just told myself then, after the Darren Till fight, I'm not gonna do this again.
So Wonderboy had good reason to pull out of the fight. The big debate that comes out of it is should Thompson receive his show money, which is about $250,000. Stephen feels he is entitled to that since he did everything according to his contract. This is true, with one big exception. He didn't fight, and that is Dana White's point of view. White made a statement that basically said that Thompson would get a piece of Michel's purse if he took the fight. If he declined to fight, then the UFC would try to find him a new fight in short notice. A fighter cannot just refuse to fight and expect full show money. He went on to say the UFC tries to figure out camp costs so they could work out some sort of reimbursement. While I understand from Stephen Thompson's point of view that he did his job, he was ready to go, and isn't the reason the fight didn't happen, I have to agree with Dana White. After all, the UFC is a business. No fight, no money. While there is an argument that without the fighters, the UFC has nothing, that currently isn't the position the UFC is in, and UFC 291 went on without Stephen Thompson, so he doesn't have that leverage. If the UFC paid Thompson his full show money just to weigh in, they would be setting a precedent that all fighters could follow. How many future fights would then be canceled because the fighter chooses to take home a good payday just for doing a training camp? That's bad business for the UFC, and the fans lose out too. So what's a good solution? I think if the UFC was a little more transparent with this part of the contract negotiations, it would be very helpful. When a fighter misses weight, a portion of their money goes to the other fighter. This is nothing new, but there has never been a standardized structure or rule that everyone is aware of ahead of time. Since money is the easiest form of incentive, it could be a simple mathematical formula. I think a minimum of 50% of the other camp's purse is reasonable, no more than 75%, and if the fight does not happen, then the fighter that does make weight gets 25 to 50% of their own agreed show money. So in the case of Stephen Thompson, who apparently was supposed to make $250,000 to show, and I suspect $250,000 to win, let's assume Michel Pereira had a contract of $120,000 to show, $120,000 to win. 50 to 75% of Pereira's show purse would be $60,000 to $90,000. Incentive for Thompson to fight would now be $310,000 to $340,000 just to show. If Thompson wins, he walks away with up to $590,000. More if they up his win bonus, and that doesn't include pay-per-view percentages. If Thompson declines to fight, he would get 25 to 50% of his show money, which is $62,500 to $125,000, and I would say somewhere in the middle would be realistic. It has to cover a fighter's camp costs and all expenses that get them to the fight, but it also has to be enough to live on for the months until their next fight, which will include another fight camp. At 25%, or $62,500 in Stephen Thompson's case, let's assume at least $20,000 in camp, management, and expenses for the fight, and after at least 30% in taxes, giving Thompson a take-home of less than $30,000. Can he survive 3 or 4 months off of that? And that's the big question. What number makes it fair for all parties? Let us know what you think in the comments. Like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.